NSC. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel and to my PlayStation collection. Yeah, here I got a great video for you guys because some of you peoples need to understand a very important thing. Like you can see, I got here different models, beginning from the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 3 FAT Edition and the PlayStation 4. On this video, I'm going to just talk about the cooling for the PlayStation 3 FAT Edition because some people, they just misunderstood something, and I just want to, let's say, talk about some special stuff that you really should know. But this is just for the PlayStation 3 FAT Edition, so that's why I will just try to be focused on the PlayStation 3 FAT Edition. But for that, I have now here some parts that you can understand what I mean, and I'm gonna just, let's say, begin to talk about the PlayStation 3 FAT Edition, but over the power supply. Okay, so here you can see we got the PlayStation 3 FAT Edition power supply, and here we got, let's say, a power supply from the PlayStation 3 FAT Edition, but from the latest ones. The thing that I want to talk about is about the cooling. So all these PlayStations here, like you can see, these are, let's say, my smallest collection. And if you believe or not, they are still working like new. So now just think about why they are still working like new. Yeah, because it's made by NSC in the place to be. Oh yeah. No, really. Just think about why your PlayStation gets broken and why my PlayStations are still working. Okay, so this is, I don't know, but I don't have anything more to say. The thing is that these PlayStations they are really cooled and running so cool as possible. I'm gonna begin now, like I told, to talk with you about the PlayStation 3 FAT Edition and about the power supply, because this one here is one of the biggest, or let's say, the most important things that you should know when it comes to overheating on a PlayStation 3 FAT Edition. Okay, for that example, I got here my lovely PlayStation 3 FAT Edition, which I have made a lot tests and also a lot videos for you guys. But now, like I told, I'm gonna begin with the PlayStation 3 FAT Edition, just that you can understand something that you really should know and should not believe all the videos that you can see outside there on YouTube, because mostly, I'm the guy that makes these tests and I'm doing always testing. Okay, so this is my life, All here that you can see is mostly tested a lots of time and a lots of hours, okay? So, but now let's just get to this PlayStation 3, my lovely one. I'm gonna now show you a great thing that you can understand what I'm talking here about. So here you see, yeah, I love it. Look, oh God, so sad. It's not used that much, but it's still working like new. Okay, what have I done here? I can tell you, I got here a big hole with a great, let's say, dust filter and all the stuff. The thing that I have made here long ago for myself is to test how much, let's say, space will be necessary that the PlayStation runs cool and the power supply also, okay? I've made this for myself, so like that you can calculate the holes that you need to cool, or let's say for your PlayStation 3 FAT Edition, to cool also the power supply, not only the chips itself. I'm gonna now just explain some stuff for the newcomers on my channel, because some of them, they maybe doesn't know about that, and that's why I'm gonna just close it here again. So now I'm gonna just put this away, and this away, and this away. Like I told, this is the power supply from the oldest, or let's say from the very first PlayStation 3 FAT Editions, and this is from the latest PlayStation 3 FAT Editions. Now I'm gonna just put this PlayStation here, and I'm gonna explain you some stuff about the cooling itself. PlayStation 3 FAT Edition. The thing is like that. The air gets here inside, okay? Just normally the air goes here inside, like you can see everywhere. So these are the air intake holes where the air gets inside, okay? So here and here, okay? So down and here. But mostly the air gets here inside, okay? The other thing is on the right side, you can also see some holes, but here on the side, the hot air comes out as well, okay? So from this side, the hot air from the RSX comes from this side out, okay? So if you take a closer look on the cooler, on the heatsink, you're gonna see that the hot air gets also from the right side out. And of course, on the back, you can see that the most of hot air gets on the back out, okay? So, but again, maybe I'm gonna get you the heatsink, or let's say the cooler from the PlayStation 3 FAT Edition, so that you can understand more. But for first, I'm gonna explain you this thing. So here is your power supply, exactly here. So the air gets here inside, which is, let's say, cold. It's fresh air, cold air. It gets here inside and it needs to pass over the power supply. The thing is like that. This works very nice the first 10, 20, 30 minutes. But then the power supply begins to get really hot. Okay, so after playing, let's say, God of War 3, the power supply gets really, really damn hot. I have tested already. The power supply gets around 75, 80 degrees. Okay, I have some videos where I have also tested the power supply temperatures with a sensor and the temperature display. So there I was able to test a lot. Maybe I'm going to put you this all on the video description and then you can take a look for yourself. So the thing is like that. The air gets here inside, it passes through the case, through the power supply, and with the time it will get, let's say hot. And that you understand how this all works, the hot air, which later gets hot because of the power supply, gets here, it gets out of here. So that means the most air that gets out comes from here. So that means the PlayStation later is cooling the, let's say, chips or the cell and the RSX with, let's say, hot air. So this is really bullshit, okay? So this is a problem on the PlayStation 3 FAT Edition, and that's why people need to know and understand that when your PlayStation is working on the beginning, let's say the first 5 minutes, it's okay. The first 10 minutes, it's still okay. After 20-30 minutes gameplay, the power supply begins to get really hot. So that means the fresh air gets here inside. It goes through this small shitty holes on the side over there on the front, and then it passes through the power supply, okay, and it gets out on this small hole here, okay. That's why you got on all models on the PlayStation 3 FAT Edition, you always got this hole, because this is the only bigger hole where the air gets inside to the cooler, which the cooler later, let's say the heatsink, the bigger one, cools the CPU and the GPU. And this is just bullshit. Let's talk about this one here. You got the same problem on this one. You can see that this one here has also a big hole, and there, let's say, the air gets out into the PlayStation to be cooled from, let's say, the heatsink. But this is bullshit. How it's possible for the PlayStation 3 FAT Edition to cool the chips, but with hot air? Okay, so you can already hear this is just bullshit, okay? The PlayStation later is trying to cool the chips down with, let's say, hot air, because the air that comes here inside gets on the end here, it gets out already about 30-40 degrees, okay? So it's not the same like here inside. So here, let's say room temperature is about 22, 25 degrees. It confirms if it's winter or summer. It gets here inside, it's still all cool, but then outside here, it's already about 40, 42 degrees, okay? So that's why I have made this all possible on the PlayStation 3 FAT Edition, that you can, let's say, just, be able still to have a cool PlayStation 3 FAT Edition, because you have made and help it. You have helped the PlayStation 3 FAT Edition to cool the chips better. And that's why I have made this holes. So now comes the problem that people's talking bullshit. Oh, this was shit from NSC and whatever. Okay, let's talk about this. I'm gonna now just, let's say, open all the air intake here under there, which I have made. Also very nice here with the, let's say, dust filter, like always. So, but now let's open all, okay? I need to do that you guys can understand that. So, now all is open here. So what happens right now? Of course, the PlayStation has a lot air intake, which the fan is able to take all the fresh air, yeah? Just like a, let's say, dust sucker or whatever. So all the air gets here directly inside, and the PlayStation feels so nice and sexy, so cool and all the rest. But the other problem is that the power supply, of course, now will not have that great cooling. So the only thing that could now probably broke, or let's say get damaged, is the power supply, because now the air which gets here inside perfectly gets here on the front not that fast inside, and that's why the power supply in this case could run a little bit hotter, because you have here too many holes or too much holes. And that's why I have already told you guys on other videos, if you want to do holes on the back, you just please do one line, yeah, just one line in about 5 centimeters. You do one line, let's say one circle with an 8mm drill. This is fully enough. You don't need to do that big like I have done here right now. If you do that, you need to adjust, let's say, your power supply. You need to fix it somehow. You need to you need to cool it extra. You need to make some modifications on the power supply also, just like I did it on a lot of YouTube videos, which I have made and tested for yourself. With this stuff here, I was able to test for myself how many should I open and close for the air intake, so that the power supply is still able to run cool. So here that you can see, I can probably close this all now. So let's say I'm gonna just close this, right here, right now, like this. So it's a cool thing. So now you can see it's all closed. And let's say I'm gonna just open this part here, which is fully enough to cool it better. Okay, so only this here will help you a lot. So that means calculated, let's say this space and this place here should be about one round. Let's say here just a circle with, let's say, 8mm holes. Yeah, just like some smaller holes. This is 8mm, like you can see. I think this should be 6 or 8mm. This is 8 here. Yeah, this is 8mm. This should be 6. I don't know it right now from my head. This is a bigger one here. Totally open, like you can see, a big hole here. But this one here is a monster. Like you already know, this is the PlayStation 4 Pro Ultra Quiet Edition that I have made long time ago. This PlayStation here never gets loud. I got this special cooling, like you can see, with the heatsinks on the VRAM chips. It's still running like new, and I can play Fortnite and whatever, really games that is really heavy for the PlayStation 4 Pro, like let's say Days Gone and stuff like that, and the PlayStation still stays very quiet, okay, because this is here totally modified. And this is the next step, what I want to talk with you about that. So on all the other models, expect this one here. You can do that without problems, okay? Why? It's easy. The question is easy. The air gets here inside, and on the end sits the power supply. So let's say just like this. And that's why it's totally okay when you do this. On all the other PlayStations, this is just awesome, okay? Even on this one here. This is my very first PlayStation that I have here with a, yeah, let's say, a fan adjuster, like you can see, fan accelerator. Then I got here also on the back steel my cables, where I can just connect the temperature display. Then here on the back you can see I got also higher feeds. Then I got all drilled here with, I think this was also 8 millimeters or 10 millimeters drill, I don't know, can't remember. But hey, all these PlayStations here are still working like new. So which proofs do you want more? Okay, so you need to understand one thing. A lot of people on the internet, they think this, they think that, they think here and whatever, but I just don't think, yeah, because thinking is not knowing. I know that all, okay? All here are the best proofs, and these are not just the PlayStations that are staying here around. I've made thousands more, okay? This is just my own collection because I just wanted to keep it for myself, for you guys. Somewhere in 10 years later, I'm gonna do again a video to prove, hey guys, look, these PlayStations are still working. They are not just working because they are laying around, they are working because they really work, okay? So, and here the next example, my lovely PlayStation 3, all working, still perfectly here, okay? Here again, some holes, dust filter, the air gets inside, here's the cooler, the heatsink, it gets cooled, and on the back, the power supply, okay? And that's why it's all working just perfectly, okay? So on all the other PlayStations, you can do that without to be afraid that something gonna break. No, it's gonna be even cooler. Look, the PlayStation 4 Slim Edition normally doesn't get that hot, but even on this one here, I have made it, I think, I don't know, maybe 1 month ago, or 3 weeks, I don't know, can't remember. I've made these holes, okay? Just nice and sexy. You can see that. Nice and sexy all around there. So this will help that the air gets easier inside and not just from the side, because the holes on the side, they're very small and it's just, you know, so here, sorry, the air gets really easy directly inside, okay? So again, and here we go. So here, look, nice and sexy. And now you can see here, the air gets directly inside, the heatsink sits over here, and then it goes to the back through the power supply. And the PlayStation 3 FAT Edition should be made just like this, and then you will not have that problems that you have on the PlayStation 3 FAT Edition, okay? And this is the only problem why the PlayStation 3 is overheating like hell, okay? So yeah, it's a good construction, but they have not think about that the power supply gets really hot with the time, and then the PlayStation takes, let's say, to cool the chips down, it takes just hot air on the end. After playing about 30 minutes, the air gonna get hot, and that's the main reason why the PlayStation 3 FAT Edition gets really hot with the time, okay? So, of course, the chips, they are ones of the first ones which already, let's say, runs hotter than all the other chips here. It's, yeah, these are the very first PlayStation 3 chips. They're running a little bit hotter, they have more power consumption, and of course, they, they get really hot, okay? Let's say you would made a power supply modification, just like I have made also a long time. You can take the power supply and build it somewhere external with an extra fan, and then you're gonna see that the PlayStation 3 gonna run way cooler, okay? Because the power supply is not there and it's not getting hot. And the other problem is also when you have the power supply, it sits over the motherboard, okay? So here under there is the motherboard. On this side here, let's say on the right side, you got the CPU, okay? If you don't believe me, just take it apart take a closer look yourself, you're gonna see the cell, the CPU, is sitting directly on the, let's say, under the power supply. This is the next problem, which gets, of course, the heat from up, let's say from the power supply. And that's the main problem. Why the CPU mostly is always the first chip. If you just delete it, the CPU is mostly the chip which has already lost, let's say, the thermal paste, okay? I have proved this a lot of times, and this is the main reason, because the power supply sits directly over the cell. I can just recommend you on the minimum to take this shield, okay? Just take it off, okay? You can just take this part off here, and the power supply, let's say, it's just free, because a lot of people, they say, yeah, this is important for the power supply. It's not really important. This is more, let's say, a heat shield, okay? Because the power supply gets really hot. But it's mostly because, let's say, it's for your security. It's more for your protection, you know, because let's say you're gonna just open the PlayStation and you're gonna touch the power supply. Without this case, you would get some shock. That would be not that great, of course, okay? And that's why they have protected. Otherwise, let's say manufacturers like Sony, they will not be able, let's say, to sell the PlayStations, because this would be a little bit danger, you know? And that's why they have also made this protection for your security, for your protection, and that's the main thing, okay? So, but at the end, I've tested this also for myself. You can just take this case away, just get the power supply inside, so the air gonna go here inside, and it's gonna be able to pass still through the power supply, and it will not get on the end here, where it gets outside again. It will not be that hot like with this here, okay? Okay, so now for the end, I'm gonna just take the cooler for you guys. Okay guys, like I told, I got here the cooler from the PlayStation 3 FAT Edition. Like you can see, you got here on the left side the heat sinks from the CPU. On the right side, you got the heat sink from the RSX, okay? And that's why you can also see here on the right side, the hot air gets out too, which in this case is this side, right side. That means when the PlayStation is just like that, the air gets also out from this side, okay? Because this is the side from the RSX. The fan is just turning like that, okay? Like this. And then it blows the hot air from the right side out also, okay? Of course, on the back itself, yes. And the power supply sits exactly somewhere here, okay? And that's why the cell CPU gets mostly, hotter than the RSX. And here you can also see again the power supply. Wait, let me just turn it around. It sits somewhere over here. And here the hot air gets out and it runs through all the smaller holes, and just then it gets, let's say, here inside to the fan, which is really bullshit, okay? So this is something which they had, let's say long ago. They should make this better, because when your PlayStation with the time gets really full of dust everywhere, so that means the air intakes are gonna be blocked, and you're gonna see that the PlayStation tries everywhere to get the air inside to, let's say, the fan. Okay guys, but like I told, on all the other PlayStations, it's all okay. No panic on Titanic. We got water for all. You can trust NSC's words. And guys, believe me or not, like I told, this is only the problem on the PlayStation 3 FAT Edition. I have now explaining the most important things that you need to know. Otherwise, just do that like me, and you can all the time just yourself say, hi, today I'm gonna have it like this. Next time I'm gonna have it like this. And in 3 weeks I'm gonna have it like this. And next year I'm gonna have it like this. And someone, when you're really just pissed off, you say, you know what, I'm gonna have it like this. Because you have, let's say, modify your power supply just like I have done it. And then you can do this without problems. But you need to know one thing. when it's just too much, of course the power supply gonna get a little bit hotter, and that's why I've made this for myself, which I'm gonna be able just to take it back inside again all the time, and then let's say I can just adjust my air intake myself. So here, like you can see, without problems. And yeah, this is not so special. Yeah, it's not made professional, but it's just for the test, and it was just perfect like that. Okay, so here you can see, you can just do it like me, NSC in the place to be. So here, just do it a little bit. This is, let's say, what I have tested, included, let's say, temperatures, which you can read on webman mode or with the temperature sensor. And I have tested for myself. This, just like that, is the best what you can do. If you want to do some holes in the back, just do one line with about 8mm drills or 10. Okay, you can take a big one. You can also take, yeah, let's say 10mm, and you just do one circle. This should be more than enough. Okay guys, this was all for me. NSC in the place to be. Thanks to Alice for helping holding the smartphone and the camera. And yeah, if you have some questions, just let me know. Look at this beauty one here, a bigger hole, which has, yeah, of course, a big air intake, and never ever this PlayStation made me some problems. This is the latest PlayStation 4 Pro, working like a charm without problems. You can trust my words, guys. Okay, guys, see ya soon. That was me, NSC in the place to be. Oh yeah. NSC in the place to be. NSC